it looks like nothing can touch them. When everything is kind of working together, kind of like what Exter was saying, with all these weird little micro plays that are kind of going on, they're untouchable. But the one team that has consistently kind of shoved it to them has been TSM. So we get the North American first and second up against each other, fighting for a spot in the grand finals here, as already Inspire's taken a lot of damage, but does tap Timatino right off the bat.
He gets healed up by 7, so all is good, but definitely needing to be careful how you navigate those waters when Envy... They're such a difficult team to play against because of that surprise play style and the compositions that they whip out, and even just seeing the Waylay. We haven't seen KaneZera really run that even in the regular season, so they brought out strats, especially here for Ascension. TSM just knocking at the door, just getting Envy nervous and getting their attention, and KaneZera happy to greet them. And TSM are not going to trust that at all, and even KaneZera squeezes out, gets kind of caught by the door, and TSM get first blood.
Yeah, and once again, like, KaneZera had a crazy performance yesterday. The KaneZera that we were promised, but like the desk was saying, has started out really slow and is always pretty consistently slow on map number 1. Especially moving on the Waylay could be difficult.
Now re-hitting into C, Exter respecting that, and he's looked the most comfortable on stage, but it's popping from the door to the back of TSM's head to just nullify this entire round. It comes down to a 2 versus 2. An alternative is provided here by Alvin Boy, but the spike still has to be recovered. GMD in a bad position, Ion lining up the paranoia exactly where you heard those footsteps, and Alvin Boy's got the backup.
Yeah, let's go. Alvin Boy, honestly, has been one of these players on the TSM roster that I've really enjoyed watching start to get a lot more confident in some of these. Always playing that Sentinel role, like we talked about, like the Sentinel new lurking role type of deal. But Alvin Boy has been so consistent, whether or not it's just kind of anchoring sights down or just taking some of these off-angle flanks. He's been extremely good and one of the strongest players on TSM, in my opinion. Of course, all of them, I feel like you could highlight their individual prowess, but Alvin Boy has been one that stands out to me.
He absolutely has. A lot of the Sentinels this Ascension have been insane. TSM, they've already shown their consistency. They've set the tone here on the pistol. So Marshall by watching right side. Spike left behind. TSM have to be worried about this B-Link door that keeps opening up, and Envy are surging towards them, and Popping gets caught juggling, and TSM make a clown out of him.
Yeah, and once again, it's just the read of the aggression, the understanding of how Envy like to play. This is something that TSM they know at this point. Like, there's so much history between these two teams, so they're always going to be good for a punish.
Exter gets pinged, and Ion needs to support and go for the trade, but the smokes just make that impossible. And he waits for time for the rest of his team to rotate in, but there's just no help coming, and Inspired just have that 1v1 against GMD, and to bring all these weapons into the bonus, or at least some of the SMGs, pretty nice for TSM.
Oh yeah, TSM are looking nice and comfortable right now. Like, that round as well, it was just we know they're always going to try to fight for those little micro plays. We know that they're going to try and take these individual scrimmages where they're hoping to kind of come out on top. And so let's just hold it, let's just isolate it, and let's just make sure that nothing gets kind of out of control. And so, great stuff coming through from TSM. They're looking so calm and collected. I know it's only been 2 rounds, but that's the type of energy we need to see from this team. They're coming in here, they're ready to play, and they are walking it down on Envy.
I swear Envy play better when they're losing, though. That is my ultimate code, but even I predicted TSM. You can't deny the results. You can't deny the start that they've had. Envy have only collected 3 kills so far. And TSM already doing a good job of denying that B-Link door that it's kind of been thorn in their side. So Envy trying to draw, or TSM trying to draw Envy into a fight. And Exter may just give it to them. He's already setting his teleport behind in case things get dicey here at B.
Yeah, it's just so slow right now from both of these teams. You can tell Envy just setting up some contact plays. Whoever kind of gets a little bit of information, that's when we're going to see a lot of that util pop. But TSM have not given up a single thing. They're going to decide to move towards this A site. maintain Zera though, just on the other side with Ion, and these two are a deadly pair.
Prowler gets marked, and Timotino still has the boom bot if he wanted to get some information or even just pressure Envy in that case. And Inspire gets a double kill. Yeah, GMD trades, but now he's by himself over at C, so I don't know if he's gonna want to plan maybe behind his own smoke. Has that window to work with. TSM have to go with the opportunities gifted to them. Now at a small deficit, TSM have the paranoia to work with. No smokes to seal off these entries. Double swing out of waterfall here from Envy. Still popping with a Prowler. Not even having the time to use it. TSM have their backs against the wall, and they're winning the trades. And Ion isolates himself, but Poppin finds a better angle. 1 versus 1 against Bora. Oh, no. And he cowers behind the smoke. Bora runs out of bullets. Poppin at 18 HP saves the round.
Oh man, and one of the things too, like I said, TSM having the read on how Envy like to play, you can tell immediately when they start to come in. You see the smokes drop, the paranoia flies, the swings are gonna be good. And honestly, given the weapon disadvantage that TSM had there, Envy should have walked away with a little bit more. But at the same time, Poppin has already been having kind of a lights out game. Inspire as well, being the kind of linchpin in a lot of these mid rounds, but Poppin stayed alive. And honestly, like, Poppin is one of my favorite players to watch on the side of Envy, just because he's not afraid to kind of go for the goofy plays, go for the fun little like crazy things that you would never really expect and come out on top of it. Whereas you can have a lot of these teams that rely on more of like a textbook, you know, the weighing of, is this worth it? Is it not worth it? Poppin's just like, we're flooring it. We're just going to go in there and we're going to have a great time. And honestly has been getting rewarded quite often whenever he tries to take that. Once again, Envy, a team that is more than comfortable just soloing whatever opportunity they have.
Yeah, Poppin has provided so much firepower to this team, and you really couldn't pick one weakness out of Envy. But it's now them just trying to get comfortable on stage, and at this point you can't even say nerves are a factor anymore when it's just been that many matches. But this is a matchup that you're all too familiar with, and Envy's confidence has both been a boon and a curse to them, while TSM, they've been applauded for their consistency because they kind of don't let that confidence take over too much.
No, and like that's the thing, right? Like when you look at the TSM roster, obviously GMD and 7 have just been in this roster for so long at this point, but I think that they do a really good job at just kind of stabilizing the environment, right? Like bringing that experience, bringing that like calm and collectiveness to the entirety of TSM. And with Vora joining in, Vora seems like an IGL who has such a good read on the game and knows the current meta really well. And then on the other side of Envy, like this is a team where it's just a bunch of kids who are insane, out of their mind fraggers. Their macro was lacking. They took the time, got a coach in, made sure that they kind of cleaned up a lot of things in order to kind of get that macro up to that level. And of course, Inspire being the person who has that tier 1 experience as well, does a good job of anchoring the rest of them down, but they're a lot more scrappy and a lot more rambunctious when it comes to overall team dynamics.
And TSM have leveled up every step of the way. Like, they're not this wild card anymore. They're truly a North American powerhouse and the favorites to ascend out of this bracket. But then there's question marks around Envy of if they can show us what they did online in person. Like, are they just online warriors? Can they be Lanimals too? Because the desk have talked about TSM are Lanimals. They are just popping off more than ever on the biggest of stages. And for Timotino to do the performances that he's done so far, you can't deny that judgment.
No, 100%. Like, Timotino, so sharp, and then in this LAN environment has just honestly looked even better. Plays disciplined when the team needs him, but then not afraid to just go out there and try and find some of those ego peaks, find some of those ego duels, and usually will win them out. And honestly, that's saying a lot going up against a team like Envy, where all of them are just going to be looking for those ego duels, try and play off of the utility of one another to try and just find the kills every single time. But as we have this little bit of a tech pause, getting gear sorted out, like you can tell the vibes are pretty good on both sides of the stage right now. Like TSM, they're feeling nice and comfortable. They know that this is a matchup that they understand extremely well. And meanwhile, on the other side, like Envy, it's so funny because sometimes you like look at these players and there's that like moment in their eyes where they're like, wow, I'm playing on stage. I can't believe this. It's kind of like that like youthful, innocent energy from Envy sometimes that it's fun to watch.
I wonder how the vibes are gonna stay, because I don't doubt that both these teams play good Valorant, but it's when mistakes start to happen, when the losses are getting heavy. Who can stay composed throughout that? Because TSM, at least GMD7 have been together for so long. They've had incredible additions. But who can stay composed in the biggest of stages? Now, the technical pause is over. Get to take a look at the buys, and look, Seven's got an Odin. He's at it again, Marks.
Not the 7 Battle Sage Odin. Tale as old as time at this point. Kind of was watching what Ali was doing on Winthrop University and was like, you know what? I think I can elevate this a little bit more. And has looked so clean on that Sage. This round, though, we do see Kane Zera back onto a Bucky. And it feels like he gets put on shotgun jail whenever he kind of can't aim quite off the bat.
Oh, Kane Zera tried to find the timing, knew he was going to get droned out, tried to take one down with them. And all of Envy are going down one by one, trying to stand in TSM's way, and they just get stomped on. That's just what happens when you just have the solo plays happen. TSM, so good to react with it. They know to expect the unexpected when going up against Envy. See if this can end up being a flawless 2, because bringing in this Odin into the next would be important. And Poppin has shown face, and he has the Nightfall. 2 versus 4. Envy, do you believe at 17 HP? I wouldn't, but these guys are way better than me. Inspire checks tree. Door opens. Yeah, and Inspire has his own battles to deal with. Oh, and the boom bot just barely spots him, and Inspire gets nervous. And now Poppin is really cooked.
I was gonna say, for sure, if we saw a couple of kills come through, the Nightfall would have flown, Poppin would have full sent it. They're just trying to run away right now, but won't even be able to do that. You look at how TSM are playing, and they've implemented the Hall Pass buddy system. Every single fight, they're never taking anything alone because they know that's exactly what Envy are looking for. Envy are looking for the individual member who is out, caught by surprise, and then you just have a nice and easy swing. Every single time Envy peak TSM, if they find one, there's going to be the rest of the team kind of trailing beside them, if not for one other person. And yeah, it just really holds strong against how Envy like to play. And so we're going to be seeing TSM scoop up their 3rd round here and be back onto the pistols. But once again, this is an Envy team that is no stranger to just finding some crazy thrifts.
Poppin is deadlifting his team right now, and Inspire can't escape. Good punish from TSM. They're just always aware, and there's no surprises from Envy. I don't know how the shenanigans are gonna go with the pistols when TSM keep their distance and let the rifles do all the talking.
And still playing all grouped up together. Finding Inspire so early on is such an important kill because, you know, like the Dusk was talking about, Inspire kind of saves things because their mid-rounding isn't necessarily good, but is somehow able to walk away with just like a multi-kill every single time. And the fact that that player is no longer alive also means that a lot of that Cypher util is down. But they are moving in onto C, which is the heavily reinforced site for Envy.
Boombot. Oh, just to actually check the corner, and they're kind of using it as bait, and no one checks the back corner.
Oh, wow.
So Team Latino gets away with a little bit of murder. Nightfall is on the way, but at this point, the round is over, and Envy have barely scratched the surface of TSM.
Yeah, and like, just the predictability and the chaos of it all, TSM feeling really clean on it. Envy really struggling to win out any single one of these duels at this point. You see them go for those like ego peaks and ego duels, which they are just like so well known for. If you've been paying attention to North American challengers, like Envy were completely unstoppable back in like stage 1 and stage 2. Honestly, like every single time a team would face them, they would just simply outgun them every single time. But that really pushed the entire zeitgeist of strategic prowess in Tier 2 Valorant forwards to kind of meet them at that level. And it really wasn't until TSM entered into stage 3 where they were like the team that could finally stop Envy. And we're seeing like a lot of it still at play here. We talked about how this is a familiar matchup between these two squads, but TSM have definitely put in a ton of time to make sure they know how to play against Envy and play well against them.
Need that energy drink timeout. Envy can't be sleeping this early, but they're just the comeback kings when it comes to starting off on deficits. Like, think about the reverse sweep they did against Team Solid, who you guys saw how talented they were. So TSM, also when they win these rounds, they do so with at least 4 members remaining. And when Envy won that one round, it was down to a 1v1. So these have just been clean wins from TSM, which then economy comes into the question if it's swelling here for TSM.
I am not just a shadow.
You tell him, Omen. Starting out at 7, spraying things down with the Odin. Timotino so deep with the showstopper, but so disciplined.
No way, how did that not hit anybody? What the dodge? Dodge a wrench, you can dodge a showstopper, and Timotino pays the price. Probably stun locked that didn't hit either. Now that was a big win condition that Envy got rid of. Now they have to try to retake into B. This is where the Nightfall is going to be beautiful for Poppin. Getting ahead of the game though with 7. As a resurrect, and it's just not going to have time to use it because the Nightfall reigns, and as soon as they step up, Vor takes care of business. Job's not done, Envy though. Seconds are ticking away. Rolling right above them, 7 trying to watch his teammates back, but man, that Odin, the spray transfer still clean when TNT steps up to the plate. Oh boy.
Wow. It's like this is one of those moments, right, where I'm just like, yeah, I want to talk about like how Envy is doing great, but then suddenly 7 and GMD, the dynamic duo of TSM, pull something like that out of a hat. It feels like where all opportunities should have been Envy, despite the fact that they weren't necessarily coming in here with the better weaponry overall. Like, that was absolutely crazy, and the vibes are so high on TSM right now. Like, that is just a closer out round. And yeah, TSM, once again, looking to continue to kind of take some of these team fights and continue to win them out, while Envy are really struggling at trying to find those individual picks. Pick them off one by one, which is that Envy game plan, so that it's a lot easier to win out the rest of this round.
Nexter did a good job of baiting with his clone against the showstopper. I was wondering why that didn't hit. Well, this was clones don't count. Dimensional drift with a Bucky. It's a lyric that goes, you can pop out and show them. And Exter could do just that, but when TSM just bunker and spawn, this is going to be a hard castle to try and infiltrate. But Envy, where Kainzera is sitting, have the timing.
Oh,
He's
no.
sneaking up, and it's a target-rich environment. He's good for 2. And TSM, this is dire now because they're taking shots from all sides and they're falling against pistols. Upgrades too on the side of Envy. Just Inspire actually with the Phantom. TSM on their way to A.
And look at this, Exter got the dimensional drift, ready to hop in, get that piece of information, but this is such an Envy round coming through. And now we're gonna see it. Oh, yep, Ion finds one.
What a blind from Ion, and Alvin try to salvage what he can. 1 versus 3, and he's just spraying and praying. The reload, Poppin didn't find him in time. And now we're all just yelling at each other across, but the defuse, did he hear that go off? Oh, man. No way, he clutches at 8 HP. A thrifty for Envy.
That was, okay, that time around, we get to see the Envy game plan in full effect, right? Like, Inspire gets 1, Kainzera with the absolute magnificent timing walking out there, finding 2 very important kills. And then suddenly it's just, you know, who needs eyes? You know, just spray through the smoke. It's fine. You'll find 4 kills for it. Apparently, Alvin can. It's just so crazy in the midst of all of this chaos that Alvin makes it as close as it should be. And yet just at the end there, even though Inspire has to just kind of walk up and pull the rifle out, is able to get it just in time. 8 HP left, but Envy find another round. I'm imagining we're going to be seeing a lot of rounds that continue to be this chaotic and this rambunctious between the 2 teams.
Yeah, because how did Kainzera get that deep into mid towards spawn with no one from TSM noticing? That double kill was nice too. Really helped the round for Envy. Now the whole thing's back. Inspire doesn't have the trip set. Just hopes to work together with Eggster, who still has a flash. Place the teleport behind. TSM doing so quietly, letting Seven's Odin distract them. Oh, but Timotino first contact keeps dropping first, and there's layers to TSM. You have to peel all of them back.
Oh, no.
And Envy are on the way, but now the Resurrects come through, and TSM are back at full force, and Envy will have to force their way back in. And Poppin will have a slow orb in his way, so it's not going to be a good fight. It'd be up to Kainzera with the up, but they're smoked off. These are just not good situations for Envy unless Eggster creates the opportunity. Off the Prowler, off the Flash, TSM give them the space. Good macro so far for TSM on top of the Sage. Whoa, Kainzera is ready. Oh, this is a very small site to play with the op, and it's just hunting season. And TSM, oh, now they gotta face the Kainzera ultimate. Well, I feel like that kind of nerfed them. They had a heads up. And Vora's done some great work too. 1v1. Poppin has to stop the diffuse.
Not
it's
like
being held.
this.
Alvin Boy doesn't think it's being held. Oh, the mind games.
Once again, talking about Poppin being the player who's just gonna do something that you would normally think is kind of silly and somehow walk away with nothing but victory out of that one. Unbelievable stuff. They invest the convergent paths. Like, that is an Envy that is so confident in the midst of all of this. I was going to say this felt like a reminiscent to how Team Solid was playing up against Envy, in just how TSM like to just take these team fights, immediately just kind of crash out on everybody on Envy's side, and then Envy just don't simply have enough firepower to get themselves across the finish line on Lotus. But that round shows the individual prowess, the willingness, honestly, from all of the individual Envy players to take those risks every single time, even when you're not expecting them to go for something that crazy as that. And they will walk out on top of it. Kainzera going absolutely massive with an operator as well that round. Like, it's just, once again, so many chaotic little puzzle pieces fitting in perfectly to secure these rounds for Envy.
Like, I'm stressed, and I don't even have a favorite team. Like, imagine either side when now these last couple of rounds have been decided from 1v1s where both teams are extremely injured. I also wonder if Envy were able to recover the op that Kainzera dropped in the middle of the site, because that'll be a factor for TSM to consider going forward. But TSM have done such a fantastic job off of Vora to deal with the Inspire trips, which, I mean, Timotino hasn't been able, or hasn't been stopped unless he's been shot at by a well-timed swing from Envy. So Inspire may have to change up how he sets his trips. TSM were the ones that just took a timeout, so they're feeling the pressure.
Yeah, good time just to try and pull back some of that mental. We actually see Eggster playing now with the Bucky. Seems like Kainzera is out of shotgun jail and Eggster's right in. Not able to be as sharp as we necessarily would have expected. Kainzera, though, looking for an angle here. Will be spotting, oh, Alvin Boy, but just misses that timing there. So Alvin Boy at least gets the information on where that operator is, as it's going to be a fast play onto the C site and trying to flush Inspire out.
Oh boy, the trips. Well, Envy knew where those players were, but because of that slow orb from Seven, there's no engaging into that. But there's no wall from Seven, so, oh, there it is. Got broken down already at Waterfall, and off the blind, the double dash from Kainzera.
Uh-oh.
It's good for one before he recalls out of the fight. But TSM kill everything behind Kainzera, so now you have to try and op into this very deja vu from Envy. Smokes in place, though. Being broken up. TSM just trying to stay at a distance from the sniper. And now it's just up to Kainzera, who's gonna go and keep the op smart. Heard the footsteps, wide swing, good job from Alvin.
Yeah, make sure that that operator cannot continue to be a threat, but at the same time, like, you know, we talk about dealing with Inspire, so good coming out from TSM that time around. Like, you see how they zone out that Cypher from getting any value off of those kill trips, because they 100% are set up to not guarantee information, but to guarantee the kills. And it's a bit of utility here. A shock bolt, just to kind of zoom him out every single time Inspire was ready to push back in. Honestly, TSM doing an excellent job at zoning Envy in that util game so that they can take the kind of like head-on clash against Envy without losing anybody in the midst of it all.
Envy were not able to keep up the momentum from the Thrifty into the third round, but as soon as that timeout came from TSM, they're right back on their horse. TSM are right back to just staying in spawn and letting Envy's aggression bite them in the butt.
And no information really given over at this point. As a TSM, like, they're just waiting for Envy to kind of pop out here in order to kind of find one of these kills, but this position from Inspire could pay off a little bit more, but GMT's so ready for it. It's like they just know exactly where all of the Envy players are.
Only chance is if Envy get lucky enough and TSM hit the C site and they walk right into the Bucky. 2 Buckies. But TSM will still not underestimate what Envy can do on these lower buys and still choose to drone up as early as possible and take the long sight lines.
30 seconds left.
The Sheer will keep Poppin honest here, but you know Poppin gonna go for it anyways, so you're at least aware of this position, and Alvin Boy is just watching it like a hawk.
Even breaking up the focus of TSM could be important, but the off is still in, and KZAR's in too, and I guess he gets one with the Bucky. Better than nothing. Still a very clean round out of TSM. When they have these higher buys, they are at least converting 4 of those weapons.
Yeah, they always are, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen KZARA have a Bucky in hand and walk away with like 4 kills on a round against rifles, and so like I never want to kind of discount that out, but this Waylay style that you see Kane playing with right now, TSM are also prepared for that. Like every single time Kane flies in, everyone spins around and tries to deal with that, so it minimizes the amount of damage the shotgun can kind of walk away with. And so once again, it's just looking really clean from TSM as Envy are very quickly trailing here. It's now 7-3. KZARA going for an aggressive peek, and they've read it like a book. Both Kane and Ion go down.
Yeah, just the predictable double dash. TSM have done their homework on what to expect out of Envy. And how much depth can we see out of Envy to change things up? I mean, that was a different look. KZARA starting to get more active. And Envy are trying to create chaos, but TSM are so good at navigating it. This is not their first rodeo. This is like their millionth rodeo against Envy, but as soon as Timotino zooms out, takes the L from Egster.
Oh, man. Egster having phenomenal performances in previous matches here has kind of been the X factor when KZARA is not able to show up. Like the Dust talked about, having a little bit of a slower start. Egster more than happy to kind of pull up that slack, but this time around, once again, TSM, it just feels like they know exactly what Envy are going to do.
Convert this many rounds with a double sentry is huge for TSM, and the trips Inspire changed it up, but the stinger did not pierce through Alvin enough. Plot armor is real. Poppin unleashes the Nightfall, and as soon as he swings out, Alvin Boy humbles him for good. Now Egster's stomping away, ready to take his ones, and Alvin Boy does not trust this. The Steel Garden. Egster will kill you with a butter knife if he has to. 14 HP to 37. Vora just has to listen to the spike and lock in. And Egster knows exactly where he'll be sitting, and Vora stabilizes TSM.
I was just about to say, given the damage on the TSM players, like that classic it's literally just going to be 1 bullet, and then he can walk away with that kill. And it just comes down to a little bit of individual prowess. KZARA laughing after getting kind of off there. And, you know, once again, that's the type of energy that Envy are really bringing every single time they kind of come out here. Like, they always just look like they're having fun, and that's why they're not afraid to kind of go for some of this ridiculous shenanigans that we've seen from this team. But Vora locking it down. An excellent way to end out that round. TSM now up 8-3 as Envy are really struggling trying to get anything online on this defense.
For Egster to be that aggressive with a Bucky and a pistol, like, that's crazy. Scott Inspire in the wings. Just fades away, forces TSM to use util. Inspire does the same thing. Getting all these shock bolts out from Vora. There is one. Are TSM gonna trust this corner though? And the one way GMP senses. And the dimensional drip pops out from Egster. Oh,
my
he's just gonna
goodness
counter
me.
pressure into TSM, and Egster is trapped in there with them. Either way, he's dead. a great response for TSM to respect that ult and to go anywhere but there.
The information being given away from Exter, just like, they're all over here, guys, and then just go, oh no, pop in, excellent angle here, finds 2 before going down. Resurrection available as the Ion trying to poke out, but 7 ready to counter that one. Kane Zero, though, still alive. Timotino finds that kill.
Why does it always come down to 1v1s?
30 seconds
That's
left.
stressing me out.
Spike planted.
Inspire on the flank. Timotino doesn't know. He's going to be at the top of the site with an outlaw. It's going to be difficult to scrap at close range, and he's getting kind of far from the spike. Inspire will be on his tail. Timotino has cleared so much. There's only one place Inspire can be. And Timotino's going for the a legendary wraparound. But now Inspire did just hear maybe that jump. Wants to get him off the spike. Inspire.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, the mind games, the chess match, but there's only one king in this playground, and it's Timotino. 9-3 half for TSM.
And you know that they needed to make sure that that one was going to happen. Like, Timotino, cool as a cucumber. Both Inspire and Tim had no idea where the other player was, just up until that very end there. But once again, just the awareness from TSM to counter so many of these Envy plays has looked so clean coming out from that squad. And yeah, they're showing no signs of slowing down here on Lotus. Probably watching what Team Solid did, and we're like, yeah, we want to make sure we guarantee this map in our matchup against them.
And TSM are settling in, and so are their fans in the crowd, because guess what? There are fans that have flown all the way to Brazil to support TSM through thick and thin. So let's go say hi to them.
Eu estou aqui com o Enoa, que é o maior torcedor brasileiro da TSM Viva, é verdade?
Não só no Brasil, mas no planeta inteiro, meu amigo.
I'm here, Enoa, the biggest TSM Brazilian fan, but he said to me that's not the Brazilian, he's the biggest one in the world. Mas sabia que eu era, na época do LoLzinho, era louco pela TSM, tinha foto, tinha foto, ó, tinha uniforme, tinha tudo. Mas aqui, tô com os caras ainda, assim?
Ah, cara.
Se for contra a Team Solid na final, domingo, você é quem?
Cara, TSM, all the way, baby. All the way.
I asked him if on Sunday they play against Team Solid, if he's gonna support Solid or TSM, he's gonna support TSM. Mas, mano, por que tanta paixão pela TSM?
Cara, começou no CS e depois veio pro Rainbow Six, que é o jogo que mudou minha vida. Foram campeões mundiais em 2022 e eu sou fiel a essa org até ela acabar. E ela não vai acabar.
He said he's following TSM for a long time, other games, and he has a deep, deep love that's not gonna end, and the team's not gonna end. Tomara que não. Método por vocês hoje eu sou TSM.
Posso dar um shout-out?
Pode dar um shout-out.
Shout-out to all NA fans, all TSM fans on Discord. I love you boys. And we're gonna win, baby, all the way!
Acho que vai, acho que vai. Então bora ver se a TSM vai ganhar. Valeu.
Well, the TSM fans are hype. Envy fans, where we at? How we feeling? 3-9. Hey, it's okay. After what we saw against Team Solid, you don't stop. You don't give up at this point.
So do you think that was a paid fan? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I'm completely joking, but like, you know, like we've seen TSM kind of go up against so many other teams from LATAM as well as Brazil, and then it's just like every single time they've panned to the audience, it's just like 2 guys cheering for TSM. So it is really nice now that we get to see so many other fans for TSM still be there. And you know what? Like, Envy has a massive fan base online. So, you know, even if they aren't necessarily showing up to the arena, so many people supporting their squad and want to see them bounce back.
Ooh, a big pistol, an important one for Envy to win if they want to come back into this game. Most important round of the game, and Inspire already falls. No, GMD taking care of business. Envy ready to trade. Kane, Zara, and Ion versus the world, but the world is on its way. TSM have a lot more members rotating into the site. Ion tries to isolate, but TSM take both pistols here on Lotus.
And here we go. They get up to double digits, and it's just, once again, just so clean and coordinated coming through from TSM. They know exactly when to play off of each other. They're watching each other's backs. They're so ready to swing out together and make sure that they guarantee those kills. It's so funny to me watching the NB style, because something that has consistently worked out for them, mind you, is the fact that Inspire just kind of leads the way in on that Cypher pick, especially on their attacking rounds, and somehow will walk away with a couple of kills. Well, TSM, they understand the strategy and are so ready to punish Inspire before any of the shenanigans come online.
Well, they just keep testing TSM. When will you learn? 2 bullets and an outlaw, 2 kills. An Envy. Now, what is the alternative? After dropping Poppin and KaneZera, 2 very important members to get an offense going. And the drone, the jig is up for Exter. And he's the next victim on the death note of Timotino. At least it'll be over soon, Envy. It'll be over soon.
They're still going to be fighting every single way, as Inspire going to be the next one around. Fora just ready for it. Ion under so much pressure here. Has this frenzy. Spots at 1, but immediately will get traded back. TSM can simply do no wrong. Look at all of them. They're playing so well together. The vibes are high. It feels like every single time they're making a call on how Envy is playing, it feels like it is so accurate. The fact that Timotino, once again, can just kind of step out and find 2 very important kills there, and then double dip for more to punish Eggster. It's just looking sublime from TSM, and honestly, at this point, like, it is tough for Envy. 3-11. We're going to be seeing their weapon buy-ups, but I think that on this map specifically, this is just an outclass from TSM.
Standing ahead.
I mean, Envy have been one of the few teams to pull off a 13-0 to, what was it, like an 11-2 comeback? Like, I was there, and even that was a blur for me. I think a lot of teams try to forget about that. I don't know about a comeback here when you've had some very slow starts on the Envy side. At least the first blood bodes well, and Envy have a buy-up, so it starts here or it ends here. And TSM have not missed a beat. Now hiding back into B. Envy, the road has been set. It's been cemented. But Timotino, he's the hunter on his perch.
They both
There's
know.
a stare down between him and KaneZera. As soon as the smoke dissipates, there will be blood on the floor. KaneZera, he hides, and it's Alvin Boy who's the first victim. Envy, they step forward, and now the confidence starts to swell. TSM, they can afford to dance. How do 7 and Vora play together? And you got a recon, 2 shock bolts, and Vora senses the step up and gets completely surprised to crouch from KaneZera. And 7 just shoves the judge where the sun don't shine, but I don't know. He could heal himself, but I think he wants this to be over too.
No way.
Someone has to check the spike, guys. Someone has to check the spike.
They're here. Okay, we're good.
That was a little close. Okay. And then they all die. They all drop their weapons.
Except for one. 7, like, that's so funny. Finds the first kill, and it's just like,
so weird.
You know what? I think there's just enough time for that defuse to kind of work. So let me just go in there, and then you can see Envy are like, and then they all swarm towards the psych. So as it goes off, they actually drop so many of their weapons. I'm not sure if that was necessarily like in the playbook just from the start here, but regardless, 7, a very good economical round as a result of all of it. As that's, I think, 3 rifles that get dropped to the ground, and the buy from Envy is not exactly fully solid.
Bulldog Guardian, Raster rifles, so Envy though, I'm more worried about that lapse even happening. And TSM hold a wallop into tree, and Envy break in. They disrespect TSM yet again, but 7's Odin is the ultimate Envy op. And Exter is against 4. He's been one of Envy's best, at least on land, but he can't hang, and it's match point for TSM on their map pick.
GMD hyping up Alvin Boy as well, but that was all 7 just staying alive on the Sage in the backline. And then you can see Envy just kind of like telescope in. Oh my goodness, we have to deal with 7 at the back of the site. They're all kind of getting ready to kind of push in there. But that opens up just a few more gaps for the rest of TSM to kind of make their way in onto the site and allow for so many of these kills to come through. GMD here was instrumental at supporting 7 and keeping him alive in the midst of all of that chaos. And so it's going to be a save coming in from Envy. TSM up at 12 as it once again looks like TSM ready to just rush us into map number 2.
Yeah, Envy gonna want to go out kicking and screaming, but it's gonna be more like quivering and cowering at this point. Sheriff's getting into position. Exter's already getting tagged. Spams on all sides. TSM want to end this on better terms. And Envy at the front door. Bodyguard. Showstopper doesn't get a kill for Timotino. Kane Zero recovers a rifle, and now he's the final boss. But Envy can't depend on Kane Zero for everything. The res is disrespectful, and Ion's on the high ground, so he has a nice angle. But he still has to get the spike, and TSM gonna let him do it.
Yeah, in the midst of all of that one, the spike never goes down. And suddenly this is such a tall order for Ion, who has been consistently punished in this game. Currently only at 4 kills. Honestly, does a great job at kind of anchoring things down for Envy. He's able to kind of find these pop-off moments, and this is when that has to happen. TSM so aware that that spike probably going to be rescued away, but it's okay. They've got 3 members ready to go and a lot of utility to back them up as well.
Oh, funny thing, that 11-3 comeback I was talking about from Envy, it was against TSM on Haven. Different map, but same scenario. TSM, no, they got to take every round seriously, even ones where Envy could thrifty. Ion even got a rifle. Paranoia doesn't make contact there from GMD. Ion he has a teleport if he just wants to get out of here, but he says, come at me, bro, and he creates his own little arena. But 7, the Odin, continues to be so annoying. What a dominant first map from TSM, 13-4.
Yeah, look at all those TSM fans in the audience this time around. Definitely not